What's up, guys? Welcome to the first official, what are we calling this?
I think this is the Debunk Debate 2018.
And I want to call it Talking Scared.
Up to you to decide.
You tell us what you want us to call this, but this is where we're going to talk about the previous 4 or 5 videos, whatever we have. We're going to try to debunk some of the things that we saw, he saw, Babyface saw. But with that being said, let's get down to the chase. It's this side, buddy. All right, calm down, Spaz. All right. Let's get down to this. Let's start with the first video you did. You went to the Cemetery of Hope, aka the Franklin Graveyard.
Yes, the one that started it all. The freakiest of the freaky, because I was there alone, and because that was the only one, I'm pretty sure, that I have had any type of physical, can't explain experience.
No, there's more stuff that can't be explained.
This is the only thing physical. That was when I had the scratches.
You took an arrow to the knee at the last graveyard.
I did. I used to be an adventurer, but then I took an arrow to the knee.
So, tell me what happened at the Franklin Graveyard. Okay, the first video, you couldn't even make it down there. I mean, the weather was bad. You did hear some stuff in the woods. What got you to go the other way during the first video with the Franklin Graveyard?
What mainly got me out of there was the crinkling can noise. Some have attributed to rain.
I watched the video, and you know what? I'm going to play it back for you and let you hear a little bit of that crinkling can noise. Now, what that sounds like to me is the rain hitting the rocks.
Yes, I agree with that completely. Because you could hear the rain hitting the rocks.
And it was your first time out.
Exactly. And it was, y'all, because it was raining, that means there's clouds in the sky. That means any kind of starlight, moonlight, you can say goodbye. It's the darkest video I've done. It was beyond pitch black. It was dark. So that might have definitely had something to do with my mental experience.
With the scratches, I really think that because this was his first time out, because the mind can play so much
so many tricks, so much of a role in fooling your perception.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm way more sober than you. I'm throwing out Harvard words.
I'm f***ed up. Because the mind can really overrule common logic. It's easy to run through a bush or even get into something that might not agree with your skin. I understand completely with why you feel what you feel, but at the same time, I think there's a logical explanation for it all.
I do think that with that being my first one, I will say, I think, believe it or not, even with the scratches on my back, that was the most least paranormal because of what I've experienced since then. This cemetery was supposed to be one of the most haunted cemeteries in America. The lore and the history is there for this cemetery.
If this is actually the Cemetery of Hope, because there are things that say yes, this is the Cemetery of Hope. There are things that say no, there's really no connection.
And it's the only cemetery in that area that matches any kind of description for the Cemetery of Hope, which is why everyone's just settled with the fact that it's the one. Unless it was so haunted that they covered it up. Which could be a whole nother conspiracy thing. So yeah, we were a little bummed out by that one, as y'all can see.
Don't you ever say "as you can see" again. I will cut you every stick with a scam YouTube channel says "as you can see," and I'm trying to break this fool of saying it. Sorry for all the high-pitched beeps in your ear, but we're going to stop you from saying "as you can see."
So we were a little bummed out by that one, which, like I said, we said in the video, there just wasn't a lot of activity. We did hear some weird noises, some weird screams, definitely some weird stuff in the video. Ooh, actually, I take that back. If you go back and watch the video, there's a part where I'm just walking through and these sticks are like set up weird. They're set up like a shape or a person.
Did I put that in the video?
It's in there because I watched it and I didn't see it until in the video when I walked past it. And I was like, whoa, what the heck is that? And if you go to the Facebook page, I posted a picture of it. They're not like Blair Witch style. They're just obviously not a natural way sticks lay.
All right, so there really wasn't too much with the Franklin. Let's move on to rock and roll. What was the first thing that happened to you in the rock and roll graveyard? Obviously, it was the first time you went, when the camera panned. Everything was good.
Oh yeah, wow, I forgot about that.
So everything was good. The camera was panning. And this is where you started tripping balls. The first time I saw it, I saw, and you ran. And I couldn't really see it. So I went back, and I slow-mode, and finally saw what appeared to be what you saw, which was hard to tell, but could be some kind of apparition. One thing I want to point out is I am the first one to say bullshit when shit is bullshit. The one thing that I saw was that as the camera panned, the one faded in and out. The other stayed. And there was only a few reflective gravestones in that entire cemetery.
There's only one.
And there was only one that was tall enough that could have been considered that, but it was at the other side of the graveyard.
Other side. Everybody that I've shown that video to has said, oh my gosh, what the hell was that? No one's been able to explain it.
But it was almost not there because it was obviously not solid. So I'll give it to him on this one. No, I don't think this is proof. But it was definitely odd enough to say, what the hell was that?
When you messaged me and told me the video was done and I went and watched it for the first time, I just dropped my phone. I was like, because that's my first time seeing it on video. This is before we used to go back and watch them and everything.
Do I think that's irrefutable evidence of an apparition, demon, life after death? No, I don't think that's 100% proof. I definitely think it was odd enough to call attention to. Okay, you were at the rock and roll. We've talked about the apparition. That was really the end of the first visit. I love the fact that when you left, you had to shut the gate.
There's someone standing over there. I'm closing the gate. I'm closing the gate. I'm closing the gate.
Something told me, I'm telling you, something was inside my head. I know that sounded crazy. Some feeling came over me saying, make sure this gate gets shut. I mean, think about it. I busted my rear afterwards. I'm sorry. I busted my afterwards because closing that gate was so important.
And then you turned around and did a full-on face plant.
Closing the gate. I'm closing the gate.
Straight horror movie style.
And now this was with your cell phone in hand.
Yes. I had a skid on my knee. It was rough. That was a hasty exit.
So you actually hit the ground. It wasn't just the phone dropping. You hit the ground.
My whole body was on the ground for as quick as it could get back up, honestly. I think it's the unintentional stuff that's on this channel. It's the unintentional things that are going to be the best.
The second Franklin visit, that's the one. That's the angel head.
Yes.
So
that no one's owned up to. No, I think someone owning up to it has gone out the door.
I have interrogated. I have made phone calls. I had one dude duct taped to a chair for a minute. Sorry about that. But no one has fessed up to moving this angel head. Now, I'm still wanting to call shenanigans here. If the angel head was moved, and it was a spirit, and it was mad enough to move an angel head, or concrete head of any kind, I don't think it would have moved it from one place to another where you guys might happened to find it, I think they'd have hit you in the back of the head with it.
I think it was thrown, and we got lucky enough not to get hit with it. The reason I think it was thrown is just the placement of it. It's like all the way on the other side of the graveyard, which is how I know nobody moved it, because nobody walked that far around it at that point. The only person that did was cameraman Kenny, and he had cameras in both of his hands.
He didn't have cameras. I went through all of his video, and he didn't stop recording, and that boy wouldn't shut up for nothing.
No, and he kept blaming his gas on some ducks. That was the real haunted part.
Sometimes you gotta take a pie to the face.
So we had went to Rock and Roll again, like we've been discussing. People have been talking back, which I love, saying we brought the angel and the angel head. Well, you see, in the first time we visited the Rock and Roll graveyard, the angel thing was already there, and that's where those weird noises were coming from. The second time we were out there, we made sure to check on the angel head because we're so curious as to why this angel that's beheaded is underneath this tree where there are no graves. It's really strange.
So the angel head moved, and there really wasn't too much else after that.
That's about it. We did hear some noises. Like I said, I had that little conversation.
The mouse.
Ooh, spookiest thing on Running Scared to date.
Yeah.
To date. The mouse. It was a ghost mouse. It was Jerry's soul. No, y'all, that mouse was brave as shit. It was ready to fight for that trash can. And he was brave. He ran all the way to the woods and didn't care about an owl. So basically, I almost got my ass kicked by a mouse.
So there wasn't too much more after that. That seems to me like that was about the end of the Franklin experience.
Rock and roll.
Seems to me like that was the end of the rock and roll experience, even though I can't keep them straight.
They all start running together. Graveyards are all starting to look the same, except for the one we're going to talk about a little later. The most recent one.
The last one. So, but before we get to the most recent video, we want to talk about this abandoned house that you went into. So you go in, and it looks like, to me, I get the video, I'm like, these fools are walking into a crack den. And the fact that he went into this house and made it out alive without any kind of puncture wounds, crack addiction, or molestation, and the fact that you didn't have to show somebody on the dolly where the bad man touched you is amazing. But you made it in and out.
In and out quickly, actually.
Hold on, let me break this down for you. It wasn't in and out quickly. You went in ever so slowly.
I was tiptoeing, y'all.
There was 25 minutes of him approaching the door. You know what? Let's just keep going. Took you 45 minutes to get in.
Now it's 45.
Alright, it took an hour and a half for you to get in there.
3 days.
You took 10 minutes to make the bottom floor. And then you decide, I'm going back upstairs. You make it 6 steps up the stairs, and all hell breaks loose.
As I'm walking up those steps, and here's the thing, we had been hearing things in that house since we walked in, and I knew there was a second floor. So I said, these steps gotta go up to something, let's check it out. I keep hearing something's wild, and that's why I keep saying hello, hello, hello. I was trying to make sure someone was up there, and the thing is, if you're saying hello, and you know someone's there, and they don't say hello back, that's your sign to get out of there, because they are not responding to you for a reason. So as I'm walking up, they had enough of my shenanigans, and you can barely see it because it bounces off the wall. They had thrown a water bottle above the little rafter thing, or the little loft, and it hit the wall, bounced back. By the time it hit the ground, I was already out of the house. So I was gone.
I'm glad you didn't get molested.
I'm just so happy that it all ended the way it did. Had it not, I guess I wouldn't have felt stupid enough to go back the next fucking day into the daylight. I was telling my coworkers about it. They were like, oh, what happened? Left work and I said, hey, let's see what's going on up there in the daytime. And as you see, I went back up there in the daytime. obviously, it's a party. And I was not invited because it was going down up there. They had beds, they had like a little DJ section set up, they had an altar. I know it's not really an altar, but that's all I could call it. I don't know why it was there. It was this weird little centerpiece.
Now, this last one. It's the Vicksburg Civil War Cemetery.
What's crazy is, it's almost fictional. Each video that comes out is more definitive than the one before it, which makes me worry very much as to what I'm going to encounter, let's say in the next 2 to 3 videos.
I actually already have an appointment with him to meet the devil. It's fine. We have a contract. You're going to need to sign. There might be a little bit of blood involved, but you'll be fine.
I don't play with him.
You gonna? Let's just start right off the bat. You had a hard time getting in there.
Oh wait, have we talked about the shirts yet?
Somebody buy a damn t-shirt.
We had met some locals at another place that we were exploring in Rodney, Mississippi, which that video is coming in a day or so. And they had told me about the cemetery, but they never said anything about it being closed off. So all I had to do was just walk across the street and I was in the cemetery.
You go in, I mean, obviously you're not familiar with the area. I can completely understand. You don't want to just throw lights on. Now, the first thing I want to talk about, I want to bring this up. Number 1 is the footsteps that you heard. And here, I'm going to let you listen to these now.
What? Are y'all hearing that? Oh my God.
I either have to turn my speakers and system up all the way or put headphones on, but you can hear the leaves. I think that the wind, you saw how many leaves, and you can see how many leaves are in the video. When the wind hits the leaves, and it's just whipping in the wind, moving the leaves, giving you the misconception that there are footsteps. I've checked, man, I'm telling you now, I've heard this shit in my backyard. The backyard you're sitting in right now, but only in the twilight zone.
So he's got ghosts in his backyard. You need to get that checked out.
No, we got wind. I can't really do anything about that.
I know in my videos, that's one of the things I talk about the most, hearing something. In this case, it was the footsteps. I don't really take too much weight with the footstep noise. But when I'm in there, you know what you heard. And you know exactly the feeling you have when you hear it. Watching it on video, I get a little more skeptic mindset. But I know when I'm out there, I definitely know what I'm hearing. And he's saying wind, we could say it was a dog, whatever the case is. I know when I'm out there, I'm hearing these things.
Tell us what you did. What do you think that was that we heard? Then there was the breath / hey.
I hear this in my sleep still. I hear it just laying in my bed, sitting on the couch. I hear this. And I've actually gone in my computer room to make sure the video wasn't playing because I heard it so clearly. But that's because it's stuck in my head and it's driving me crazy.
So
it's the most legit thing I've ever heard in my life.
Let's go back. I'm going to let you hear it a couple of times. I'm going to enhance the audio and let you hear what he says is a woman saying hey.
It could be a woman or a man. It kind of sounds like a man. It's a little, just listen to it. Just listen to it. What the fuck was that?
I don't know what the fuck it is. I just censored myself. I don't know what the fuck it is. I can't say whether it's somebody saying hey. To me, it sounds like a breath of some kind, just a
that was clearly something we cannot explain. And I say we because whether it's a hey or a if y'all can think of something that it is, please do, because y'all have thought of some solutions and some, reasons in my previous videos that have made a lot of sense. Someone said, back up a little bit, we're going to touch on my video just for a second. In the Franklin, the noise that I thought was a ghost. Remember that?
The frog.
Actually, what that is a motorcycle driving down the road or just starting up. Because every time I hear it now in my videos, I can trace it back to that. That's all. I mean, just like a motorcycle. Thank you, Cleo.
Is the arrow next?
His favorite part, because he caught it. I didn't even catch this.
This fool runs. You hear him in the video say, "Please don't touch me, I'll freak out." Then, here it is. You know what? We're just going to show it. Here it is.
What the? I don't think they like me talking about this. What the? What the?
This dude just takes a motherfucking arrow to the shoulder. I texted. I said, "What the was this?" He didn't even remember this happening. He took. You can hear it coming. Hold on. Listen to this.
What the? I'm gonna go ahead and shoot with my theory, because my theories are usually a lot shorter. You see me react to this thing. However, I didn't know what he was talking about because I didn't know it was that impactful. All I heard was the noise and felt the feeling. I didn't know it rattled my whole camera, which you can see that. It jars everything. So my theory on it is that because cameras, you know how they pick up the frequencies better of like ghost talking or whatever, it picked that up stronger than my physical body did.
It didn't pick up a frequency. You got physically moved. It was like something shot across the field and hit you and you were jarred.
It does help make more sense for what happens later in the video. I feel like it supports between the breath or the hair or whatever and then that happening, it makes total sense. And that's why I'm saying it almost seems fictional, because it's like the video builds itself up but we're not changing anything order-wise. Something else happens in the video where there's a noise behind me and you can hear like...
Let's go back. Let's just enhance the audio. I have not enhanced the audio to listen to this for myself. So let's just do that now and hear what you heard.
Something weird about being on the grass too. It's like once you're on the concrete, you feel a little better.
I don't even really react to it at first. I just keep walking and then it kind of hits me like what I just heard wasn't faint. It was very distinct and it was very right in my face. And that's a hard pill to swallow as it happens. It's shock.
You've heard the enhanced audio. Tell us what you think. Your wife's going to be here soon and
Yes.
You've got to, what do we call that? Get the out of here.
You can't stay here, but you got to go home. You can't stay here.
No, you got to go home. Let's talk about face planting.
Here's what I've been telling the people that have been messaging me and stuff about this certain video. In the video, I did explain it. I don't know if it got put in the video, but I did explain it as feeling like I got grabbed. That was not the way I should have explained it. It felt more like walking. Then as you go to pick your leg up for that next step, it's like your foot goes, like if your foot went numb. So it wasn't like I got grabbed. It was more like I lost use of my ankle and that just threw me all off balance. But in the same time, something took advantage of that and gave me the momentum to fall down, which is just a fancy way of saying I got pushed, but I'm trying to sound not crazy. And that I felt, that I didn't have to contemplate. That was being touched. That's fight or flight mode. And I'm not one to fight a ghost.
We're going to leave links to all the videos in the description. Otherwise, you can just go to our channel and everything is there. We want to debunk some of this stuff. Obviously, there are some things that we can't explain, but throw your opinions out there, because we're not saying that everything we see, he sees, is supernatural. So we're looking for outside opinions. Obviously, no one person can know everything. So we want to hear outside opinions. We want you to stick around, and there's definitely going to be more videos to come. So every 4th and 5th video, we're going to be doing one of these.
Yes.
Talking scares.
What should they be called, y'all?
Should we go with the whole Walking Dead scenario with talking scared, or should we just do debunking the whatever in the butt? Okay, I like that part.
In the meantime, I'm gonna be out here with a couple others here and there, because I know y'all like the by myself videos too. And we're gonna be out here, and we are always gonna be ready to start this.